Pottery peeps. So we're back in the studio and we're going to try my Lockerbie kickwheel today. Fingers crossed. I haven't been on it since I threw the Tree of Life urn for Wendy. So you'll get to see it here, whether I can do it or not. I've cut about 4 pounds of bee mix off the bag, and when I'm doing something large on the wheel, I consider 4 pounds. Anything up over 4 pounds, fairly large. I do wedge it just to soften up that clay, to make it easier to work with. Right out of the bag, if I'm doing mugs, 1 pound pieces, I don't wedge it. It's already been pug milled and all the air's been taken out of it. But anything larger than a pound, anything larger than a pound and a half, I usually wedge it just to wake up the clay, because it's been stuck in a square bag. So, and I'll get it into a round ball, and I'm going to show you how to make one of these. This is the wheel thrown version of deviled egg tray. And hopefully next week I'll be able to show you, they're in the kiln right now being fired. They're not going to make Easter, but isn't that the way it goes? You try, but you know. I'm also going to take kind of just a handful of clay. When I threw this one, I left clay in the middle, but I'm going to give myself, I'll show you why when we get on the wheel. I'm going to give myself a little bit of clay, and I'm going to center this on top of the platter. So I think that will be a little easier, because when you're doing platter type stuff or plate type stuff, it's all about the compression. So I'm going to get you set up over at the wheel and we'll get started. I am throwing on a Hydrobat, and they're a game changer for doing plates or platters or this kind of thing, because they wick the moisture from below. So I don't ever have to wire them off. They will actually pop off when they're ready to come off, and I can still work with them, still trim them and all that. They won't be that dry. So they're a bit pricey, but oh my goodness, I have 6 of them and I wish I had 6 more, because they are pretty awesome. All right, so I haven't been on my kick wheel since the end of November, so I've actually been afraid to try it in case I knew I'd be devastated if I couldn't do it. But we're 3 months out on the one knee surgery. Oh, actually almost, yeah, 3.5, and 6 months out on the right knee, which is the one I'm kicking on, so I should be okay. So basically I'm just centering this, and then I'm going to start centering it low and pushing it out. I'm keeping this, my elbows are T-Rex arms. I always tell people to throw with T-Rex arms with your elbows into your hips. And then I'm going to flatten this out and just bring my hand, holding the side so it doesn't get away from me. And I hope I have enough clay. I might not. I should have gone with 5 pounds. We'll see. Not everybody needs a really big deviled egg tray. Sometimes it's helpful to take your sponge and have it full of water, not like dripping, but have it in your hand so that you can pull this clay out like this, and it doesn't grab at you, it doesn't dry out. So that can be really helpful. So I'm just pulling this out. I want a consistent, flat pancake, basically. Okay, so when I get it out to where I want it. I don't want it to be too thin because I'm going to be pushing eggs into this to get the little divots. My bat's 16 inches, I think. Might be 14, I'm not sure. So when I get it this far, stop your wheel and then measure. It's about how deep I am. And I want to measure across to make sure I'm the same everywhere. And while we've got that needle tool, I think that's an air bubble, so we'll just get rid of him. I'm going to take my wooden rib and then I'm going to spend some considerable time compressing this. Back and forth. I want this to be even and I want to compress it. And I will probably check my depth again. Okay, so that's 1/4 of an inch, thereabouts, maybe a 3/8. I don't want to be any less than that. I am routinely one who throws thin bottoms. And so even when I try to do a thick bottom, I always end up with a thinner one. I'm going to actually pull a little bit of that clay back to the center. And this will actually help with the compression because I'm pushing all those platelets together that were just yanked out. Okay. Now that it's all nice and smooth, before I get to the rim, I actually want to throw, this is the first time I've done this, so it works in my head. So let's see if it works in reality. So I'm basically just making a ball here, making sure that it's really smooth. And you know what, I've got too much clay. I'm going to take about half of that. I've thrown off of like leather hard clay and that so forth, but I've never added clay when it's this wet. But it should work. So I'm just going to put it right in the middle, and then I'm just going to push it down. I actually might have too much clay for this too. And then I'm going to make sure I have a good connection. And then I'm going to center this little bit of clay with my fingers, because I'm going to be throwing a knob or an egg shape. Something. It might not be egg shape. We'll see. Kind of difficult. It's a game changer when you're throwing with your fingers, when you're trying to center with your fingers. I recommend you, well, this clay is all the same. Actually, that's kind of cool. Maybe I don't want an egg for this one. But I do have too much clay. Let's take some of that off. So that's what happens when the clay grabs your hands because you don't have enough water. So you just take that off. So you could either make a knob like this, or we'll go ahead and open this one up. I'm going to do two. I'll speed up the second one, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and open this one up. And you could push all the way down to the bottom of this, because I plan to do, in fact, I think I'll do that. So I'm all the way to the bat, and the reasoning is because I'm going to do a closed form. So now I'm going to pull this up. And if you've never done a closed form before, it's actually easier on smaller bits of clay. So try it on smaller bits of clay before you go to larger ones, to kind of see how it works. So I want to be able to kind of make sure that that's easy to grab. Before you close it up, get all the water out of there. And then you're just going to take your fingers and collar that in until it touches. You do need to make sure that this is slick so that it doesn't grab your fingers. And you just slowly talk it into doing what you want it to do. Now, by collaring it in, you will thicken this wall. So you'll just want to do really gentle pull just to get some of that clay. And I'm not really worried about my shape because I know once that I've got the clay trapped in here, or the air trapped in here, I can push against it and I can make my shape then. So now I will just go ahead and close that off. And now we have a closed form. First thing I want to do, I want to get that water that's sitting there off. And then I'm just gonna, because I know I've messed up my bottom here. So just kind of straighten out that line that I had right there. Now I'm going to take the metal rib. God, I love this wheel. I learned how to throw on this type of wheel. Whoops. Watch out for the metal rib hitting your platter. So I just dug in and gave myself a divot. Alright, so now it's just a matter of creating the shape that you want. I kind of definitely want somewhat of an egg shape, but it doesn't have to be exactly an egg shape. I mean, since I grew up in Alaska, I grew up with a lot of Russian churches and Russian influence, and I love the Russian onions. So a lot of my work, especially when I'm doing knobs, will have that influence in them. And it's just something I've always loved. Heck, you could do an egg shape here and decorate it like a Fabergé if you wanted to. Do some slip trailing. That'd be fun. Maybe someday. So many things to make, so many great ideas. Alright, so I do want to, I don't know, I kind of like that little top. I like the little thing at the top. And it doesn't have to be literally an egg, you know what I mean? It can just resemble somewhat of an egg. It doesn't have to be exactly. Alright, I'm going to quit messing with it and I can clean that up later. So let's go back to making the platter. On the other one, I'll show you, maybe I'll show you how to do the knob, and you can attach the knob separately. Just for those of you who maybe don't want to, this is a little bit too intimidating to do it right on the piece. So I'm going to take my knife, get it wet, and I'm going to just bring this up, just like that. That's a great way to do a plate too. I don't want to get any clay that's sitting here. And then I'm just going to pull my wall. And with eggs, you don't need a real tall wall. You just need enough of a divider to keep them from sliding off the plate, since they're a little slimy. Okay, so I'm just going to work on this wall, and I'm just going to pull it up a little bit, and that's about it. It'd be fun to scallop this too. Actually, I think I might pull that out just a little bit more. And I'm going to make sure my rim has gotten kind of thin here. I don't like thin rims. So I'll kind of pinch it and push it. There, that looks better. Because if you have a really thin rim on any type of serving piece of you're gonna get chipped. It's gonna, that's where everything's going to, it's where the wear and tear is going to happen. All right, I feel that. Okay, I'm just bringing in my wooden rib, and I'm just kind of giving myself a little bit of a foot here. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I just want to kind of give it, I'm not going to put a foot on this, I'm not going to trim it, but I want to kind of give it little stopping, little place. So that's it for now. And then, so that's it for now. And we'll let it stiffen up, and then I'll show you the next part after that's happened. Okay, I want to make a point about this one. The knob and the rim are about the same height. So that's one thing to think about, because this is going to have to fit in somebody's cupboard. And if the knob is sticking way up, the knob's going to get broken eventually. But if you have your walls, or even like a chip and dip bowl, the bowl itself, if the bowl is the same height as the rim of the bowl is the same height as the outside wall, less chance of breakage. Same thing with having this little knob, which I think turned out super cute. Okay, Now it's just a matter of letting them dry out. Okay, so this has come off the bat and it's leather hard basically. And so what I'm going to do is I've got a sponge here, kind of a dense sponge. And what I tend to do is I tend to use the wooden egg rather than the half-size eggs because I can't push well enough and can't hold on to the half-size as well. And so I'm basically going to come out and I'm going to divide it in half. Kind of just push the egg in to get the divot. And you have to do this. If it's too leather hard, then you can't push and it'll crack. So you gotta, timing is everything in pottery. So I'm just lining it up and I'm just dividing my circle. You could, you know, measure it out, do the math, but I'm not that type of person. I just go with it. So, and even though you won't get as many divots in here as you might with, I can probably do 2 in there. As you won't, as in the hand-built pieces, you can probably get more. But I have found that you can always fit more eggs in here than you think when you actually make them up. I'm not pushing these middle ones in as hard because I'm going to come back. I just basically want my the impressions. And then I'm going to come in here with my finger and a sponge and push them all in even more. And this will help if you need to soften up your clay just a little bit. That'll help. And that's basically it. Then I'll wait till it stiffens up even more and I will clean the bottom. But these are basically your feet now. If you look at the bottom of this, you can tell that those eggs are the little feet to the dish. I will cover this. I won't let it dry out real fast, mainly because of that knob. Because if it's going to crack, that's where it's going to do it. Now, you can see some stress cracks along here. That's actually the slip that was still on the piece, kind of cracking. But probably because I put it outside to dry, and I gotta show you a picture of what it looked like here 3 days ago. So I'll put a picture in to show you. And today it's 60 degrees. I got both doors open, and I have class here in 2 hours, and I wanted to get this video out. And so I rushed the drying by putting it outside, and it dried out really fast. A lot faster than I thought it would. So the other one that I did, the second one I threw, isn't ready, but this gives you the idea. And then I'll just spend some time just getting all these little divots the way I want them. And, you know, cleaning it up. The same thing I talk about in each video, because you want to have things as clean as you can at this stage, because you definitely don't want to clean it up after you've bisted it. That's just a lot of work, needless work that you don't need to do. So that's basically it. So, let me pull you up. So all in all, a great day. Got on the wheel, And got this thing made for you guys. And I got plenty of deviled egg dishes now. So I guess I'm going to have to sell some. I did have somebody ask me when I was going to do a restock, and now that I'm feeling better, I guess I better start working on that too, because I'm getting back to running this studio full time now. So, which is really, really awesome. So thank you everybody who has subscribed. I think we're over 4,000 subscribers, which is just insane to me. But absolutely love the community that we're building here, and all of the comments that everybody leaves, everybody learns from those comments. They're just as important as the video. So comment and start telling me what you want me to make. I know that I'm going to make, a lot of you have asked for the birdhouses. So I'm going to do birdhouses, but I think next week I am going to show you how to do marble clay. I'm in this time of year because I want my flowers in my beds and stuff. I want vases. I don't know. So I had this idea to make marble vases, and so I'm going to show you how to do that next week. All right, so you have a great week out there. Hopefully the weather's going to calm down for us, and we can get outside. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week.